It's not all too often that the Walt Disney Company attempts to reimagine a classic franchise that the studio originally failed at fostering itself, but that's exactly what is happening with a prior Michael Eisner era acquisition. Let's talk about the Walt Disney Company rebooting The Power Rangers, here on That Park Place.
Hey Vash, do you remember in the Michael Eisner era and in Hollywood studios, back when it was known by its proper name, Disney-mgm Studios, what were some of the bizarre things that would show up there in that era? Maybe not very Disney things that would show up in Disney-mgm Studios?
Jessica Rabbit.
Now, I will say that was Touchstone, so technically that was Disney. But yeah, that's a really good point. I'm going to give you a couple more guesses here. There were some other things that showed up in Disney parks, walk around characters that showed up in Disney MGM Studios that maybe, just maybe, shouldn't have been there.
Well, people might maybe you've seen some old photos of like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles being featured there in its very, very early days, and also too, I believe this included also the Power Rangers, which were a recent acquisition at the time.
They were a recent acquisition, and after they bought Power Rangers from Saban, Disney, Michael Eisner. This is not Bob Iger. I don't think it was Bob Iger. Maybe it was. He was at the company at the time. They bought the Power Rangers, and after a few years, they sold it back to Saban Entertainment. Well, apparently Disney wants another crack at it.
Great. Let's see how they ruin it this time.
That's right. After 10,000 years, they're free. Jonathan E. Steinberg and Dan Schatz in talks to write, produce, and showrun live action Power Rangers series at Disney Plus. Okay, I don't know why the words live action are in this headline, but here we are. Hasbro Entertainment will produce the series.
Probably because it's going to have a live action budget of $645 million. That's probably why.
Yeah, that's a good point. This from Alberto Gonzalez, formerly of the Latino Slant. Percy Jackson and the Olympian showrunners Jonathan E. Steinberg and Dan Schatz are in talks to write, showrun, and produce a live-action Power Ranger series for Disney Plus and 20th Century TV. The Wrap has exclusively learned. So these are currently in-house Disney people. By the way, for those of you who are not aware, Percy Jackson and the Olympians is one of the most successful series on Disney Plus right now. It over the last few years, at least, it outperformed everything Star Wars, and it outperformed everything Marvel. That's probably more a comment on everything else than it is a comment on Percy Jackson and the Olympians. But if Disney's going to greenlight anything, first of all, they're going to beg for more Bluey, but they don't have any influence over Bluey other than paying for it to please continue to send them episodes. Percy Jackson and the Olympians if they're going to continue anything, you have to continue that. Even Daredevil is not doing so well in the ratings. Hasbro will produce the series, which will, reinvent the franchise for a whole new generation of fans. Yikes.
That is the kiss of death. That is the indicator, the red flag of flags for everybody to say, nope, not doing this. Let me go ahead and boot up the old, I don't know, VHS recordings of it.
While delighting those who already know and love the world of Power Rangers. Yeah, actually, honestly, they should just do an American version of the original series if they're going to do it that way. The 90s TV show, originally called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, was inspired by a Japanese children's show, Super Sentai, even using footage from that show. It features 5 teenagers who gain the ability to morph into superheroes known as the Power Rangers, complete with their own mech fighters. A film version of the series that starred most of the original cast was released in 1995. Also included a lady in a furry bikini that made it one that we had to have parental supervision to watch at the time. With a second one in 1997 that featured only a few original cast members. Series had many different iterations over the years. I don't know why I need to see these guys' face, but hey, there you go. The film grossed 142 out with a budget of 100 million. Yeah, I can understand why they wouldn't continue to do that. I don't see many mentions of the fact that Disney already owned the Power Rangers at one point here. Interesting. But there we go. It looks like, to me, Disney is looking around and saying, hey, you guys did something that did pretty well. Why don't you do something else for us? Oh, do you want to work on Star Wars? No, no, no. We want this to be successful. Vash, are you a Power Rangers fan?
I will admit I'm not the biggest Power Rangers fan out there. This is a perfect story for Marvin, which is I understand a huge Power Rangers fan. I I have an appreciation for the franchise, especially people's view of it, especially from them having seen it when they were kids and so forth. And it made it definitely a cultural impact, which was rare for something like that to make such an impact in the States, which is really, really cool. I this really just shows the creative bankruptcy of the company, right? They can't get something original built and put out there and actually have it turn a profit or have it be a profitable exercise in the form of gaining Disney Plus subscribers or having people add on to their subscription lineup via the ad tier and so forth. It's just, okay, let's see what the IPs are out there and let's go ahead and grab that one and try to remake it for a new generation. Oh, like that hasn't been done a billion times by a billion other companies and so forth. This is what I was saying before, where Disney is just kind of like any other company now, just worse.
Yeah. And I will say this is a series that is probably up for a pittance right now. I don't know how well Power Rangers is doing, but I did consider it for an episode of Everything Woke because they did have one of their Rangers decide they wanted to be a member of the alphabet community, almost of the rainbow community. But obviously there's a red, green, blue, yellow, black, pink Rangers in there.
They're kind of already part of a rainbow community. Is that right?
That's right. That's right. And I would imagine that they're gonna take a look at that original series and they're gonna say, oh well, we did have the Yellow Ranger was played by an Asian actress, the Pink Ranger was the girl, and they're gonna say, no, we can't do that. If the Pink Ranger ends up being a boy, I think that this series is done for. I mean, I already think they're starting off on the wrong foot, anyways. But I think they're going to probably, if they're not careful. I'm just going to point this out. Part of the appeal of Power Rangers is the fact that they fight a lot, and there are robots banging against each other, trying to blow each other up. And if Disney does not deliver on that, if they don't deliver on ninja fights in and out of costumes, and also giant robots that want to terrorize cities fought by other giant robots, I just don't have any faith that Disney is really in that kind of a market right now. I mean, make your own Godzilla or something that's like a Godzilla. I don't think they need Power Rangers. If they came out with something with real ninja fighting in it, okay, maybe. But I don't think they're going to do that.
It is pretty incredible how something like The Acolyte doesn't get a second season, but now we're going to be developing Power Rangers. It's one of those things where everything they touch, well, you know how that phrase probably ends right there. It's just, it is really, really fascinating. Like you said, Jonas, they probably don't need something like the Power Rangers. They have such an amazing slate of characters and stories that they can bring to life, especially in Disney Plus form. Like Tiana. Oh, wait. That's probably not one of them, actually. But there are other stories that they can go ahead and bring to the Disney Plus platform and be probably more successful right there. The fact that they're, I don't know, dipping into this specific well again is very, very interesting. At least from someone like me who might not be the biggest fan of the Power Rangers, but also but knows kind of the struggles going on with the company creatively.
Yeah, Power Rangers was great. I tend to feel like it did well, and then they added in Tommy, and that was kind of a golden era for them. And then new fans came along as they continued on. I think it kind of transformed or morphed into something even bigger as time went on. And then everyone questions, is it still popular? Well, if little kids are still watching it. But then if you make it inappropriate for little kids, well, there you go. The controversy when it first started was whether or not all the kids who watched Power Rangers in the morning showed up to school were all hyped up and wanted to fight, which, it's probably a good problem to have. Kids who want to defend themselves, who see heroes and all that kind of stuff.
Dragon Ball Z did that for me, so.
Dragon Queen for $2. Put a chick in it and make her lame. Yep. Exactly. That would be gay. Doge for $2. The 2017 Power Rangers film was a woke flop. Was it woke? I heard they were going to make one of the Power Rangers gay, but I also heard they didn't go through with it. I didn't watch it.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.